coming up on the Lead Ministry Podcast.
It's not my ministry map. I'm not trying to give somebody my map of how I did ministry. It is helping them to draw their own map to ministry in their own context.
Now your host, Josh Denhart.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. Grateful that you're here. We are talking this little segment here. We're going to have kind of an extended series on the power and the benefit of ministry coaching and how you can have coaching in your life, and it can be such a great value. Well, on this particular ministry series, we have two different groups of people. We have those who are coaching others. That's myself and 5 others. Those are Lead Ministry Certified Coaches. And we have interviews with people who are actually getting coaching. And so today is going to be one of the certified coaches, and that is our friend Aleshia. Great to see you.
Good to see you, Josh.
So this has been fun. It's been a blessing to have you as a part of the team and to be putting your ministry expertise out there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'll interject at some point about what I see as kind of your, exceptional ministry giftedness.
All right. Well, I'm a mom of 4. I've got 3 teenagers and a little 5th grader about to get into middle school. That's been hard. My oldest just turned 18, so jumping into a new world of having an adult child.
Yes.
I've been in ministry for probably 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently at a new church plant that is about 7 months old. Successfully growing, going really great. Love that. I've been a children's minister for many years. I've served as a small group leader. I've served as a director for small groups, worn a lot of different hats in ministry, and doing the coaching thing now, and it's amazing.
Yes, and we're grateful for you. And I have to say, couple quick shout outs about you. You're exceptional at event management. That's something that's very unique for you, which is awesome. You also, if there were a poster child for somebody who has way too much going on, but seems to be able to juggle it all, it would definitely be you. So you're the mom who has their kids in a lot of different activities, and not only just different activities, but you're kind of the queen or the power mom of running and administering some of those activities. So there's somebody out there who's in podcast land and they're raising their hand and they're like, I am that person. So when it comes to managing a busy, very overflowing plate, you do it with grace.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I enjoy it. I think I thrive a little bit in the chaos.
I think you do too. And I'm friends with your husband, and it's every once in a while he's like, what is going on? She's crazy. But we get it and we love it. Well, we are talking about the power of ministry coaching. That's what we're dealing with right now, which is exceptional. This is a fun little series to get people to be thinking about coaching. Well, if anybody has been on the podcast for any length of time, you know that we have these 3 big buckets. Let's define it. And then another big bucket is let's develop it, take it a little bit deeper, and then let's do it and put some application behind it. So from a definition standpoint, let's just answer the question quickly. What is ministry coaching? Now, Aleshia, I have 2 big definitions, and I'm going to read one of them right now. We'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about the second one. So the first big definition is this. What is ministry coaching? A ministry coach is a spiritual leader who provides tailored support, tailored guidance, and tailored encouragement to individuals, helping them grow in their faith, grow in their personal development, and grow in their career in the church. So I like this. I like this as a good working definition in my mind. What are your thoughts about some of these phrases that are inside of this quote?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned tailored support, because it's all about learning and building this relationship and this trust this two-way trust, and really diving into the context of that person's ministry, and then being able to give them guidance to go further and be more effective in that ministry. And sometimes that takes that encouragement. Sometimes it is an insecurity, a lack of confidence. So being able to provide those tools and that support that is going to be just right for that person in their context is so, so important.
Yeah, I really do. The idea of tailored support, tailored guidance, tailored encouragement, that's what sticks out to me as well. As we said on a previous podcast about coaching, the lead ministry kind of stuff is unique. It's one of the only things that I know that we have both a set of canned courses, 12 or 13 full-length courses that people can watch videos and download things, and that goes in concert or in tandem with the individualized, tailored one-on-one coaching. So people are watching videos, they are downloading things and executing some strategies, and then we have a time to connect where we are kind of talking about some of the things that they've been learning and developing. Again, sometimes it's, we'll dive deep into a recruiting strategy, or we'll dive deep into a conflict resolution strategy based on the courses. But then there are times, which what as coaches, all of us call it off-roading. So kind of talk to us about, and define in your mind what it is to go off-roading.
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, there's times when we want to talk about what they've learned, or maybe some questions or confusions that may go along with the course that they need further guidance on. But there's often times I'll get into a coaching call and, we'll ask, what is it today that I can help you with? What would be a win for you today? And sometimes that is completely something separate from what maybe I had in mind prepared to talk to them about. So it could be, I have Susie Q volunteer over here that is totally hijacking my event, and the vision is not what I planned. What do I do? How do I have that conversation? And we will completely, like you said, off-road from what was planned to talk through the situation and tailor it just to this particular conflict.
Yeah, it's so funny too, right? Let's say that they're going through the lead conflict course. And if they only had the courses, that's going to really help them. It will help them. But then the other thing is with the coaching, it is, as we've been talking about, this tailored support to where all of a sudden it's like, okay, wait. So Susie Q volunteer is hijacking your event. What is she doing? Well, so it's the coaching piece is so fun. Like I get goosebumps talking about this because it's listening to the nuanced side. Well, here's how she's hijacking it. Here's what she's saying. Okay, and then I'll ask, is she building negative alliances? She is. She's got two other people somewhat on her side about this. And so that is different than just watching a course or reading a book. It is a two-way street where all of a sudden they're bringing some information, we're asking probing questions, and then we're like, okay, another quick question. How long has she been at your church? Well, she's been there for 27 years. Okay. So there's layers to this. And when we ask these questions, boy, it brings a lot of clarity to the type of support, tailored support that we can give. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely. And it gets even messier when it's with your own colleagues, right?
Yes.
So we talk about layers.
Yes.
And this tailored support. Sometimes it's things that's within your own
staff,
ministry staff, which gets really difficult and can get messy really quick without someone that's on the outside that's objective and can speak into that.
Yes. And then the other thing that's so unique is that you and I and Bill and Jody and the other coaches, we have our own personal experiences, sometimes, Aleshia, our own personal ministry scars that we're like, oh, wow. So this is what I've experienced. And they're like, oh my word, that's so similar to this. And so we provide this context that's super unique. And really, it's like they have a friend. It's like they have a big sister or a big brother who's like, okay, girl, been there, done that. Make sure you watch out for this. And time again, people have said to me, you predicted exactly what was going to happen, because these are predictable type situations since we've done it before, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen.
Well, here's another fun definition to kind of round this off. What is ministry coaching? Well, ministry coaching is a partnership between a coach and a ministry leader to help them identify their strengths, overcome their challenges, and achieve their goals in a faith-based context. It is, this is my favorite part, a collaborative conversation that empowers individuals to live out God's calling and to effectively serve in ministry. So, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I love this. This is so well worded. A lot of times we speak with leaders that have so much potential, and they're excited and they want to do all that they can. They want to use their God-given gifts and their strengths, but they don't know where to start, where to begin. How do I hit up against these challenges, and how do I reach these goals that I've set for myself? So I love this. I love the empowerment, the partnership. Those are truly two key words there.
Yes. And I like the idea that you just mentioned, that they have strengths and they have goals, but then it takes this outside big sister, this outside uncle, right? They've been there, they've done that. Like, oh my word, do you realize that you are kind of like a superpower in this area? And they're like, no, I kind of just am who I am. Well, the funny thing is that it often Aleshia, we have had times where I have told you, girl, you have this super big superpower, and you're like, I'm just kind of me. And as an outsider, I'm like, well, you're a really unique you. And I think that that's extremely important. And that's what we can provide in this coaching role, right? We can identify their strengths. We can also say, hey, this is also your kryptonite. You're going to always try to take on more, or that, for me, it was always, I can get pushy. And if a senior leader, I have my own kryptonite, I guess I'll say. And so does everybody else. And it takes an outsider often to identify that. Yeah.
Connecting the dots for sure.
Yes. Well, let's go to the second big bucket, which is how can coaching support people? And this is going to be more of the interview portion, where I'm going to be asking you, Aleshia, some questions so that people can get to know you, but so that you can also kind of share your heart. So I do want to ask, before we get into this first question, a pre-question, which is, how did we first meet, and how did you get connected with Lead Ministry to begin with? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I was new to ministry. I remember coming to one of my first kids conferences, and I was just everything was new to me. Everything was exciting. I wanted to try everything.
Sure.
At the same time, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know that at the time. And like you said, we can have all these gift sets, but then knowing how to connect the dots and making the connections. And I just remember coming to one of your booths, and at the time you were just starting this Lead Volunteers course. It was like brand new. You had your Kidman Science. I loved watching the show, but I wandered into the volunteers because it's like, I have all these volunteers. I have no idea what to do with them. Mm-hmm. And where do I start? And you were just speaking my language. And I was like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about here. And I need to listen in, and I need to lean into this. And I just felt like God was just calling me to say, hey, open your ears. And this is someone worth listening to.
Well,
so,
the interesting thing that I can say is you were a part of that inaugural group. Like it had just, Lead Volunteers had just come out. And you and your good friend Kiani, you guys signed up together.
Absolutely.
And the interesting piece is that I threw in a 6-month coaching package for free that first initial. So you were a part, I forgot about that. You were a part of that initial group.
Yeah. I started ground level. Day one.
Yes, you did. You were a part of the OG. You are the OG. And so then you did that 6-month coaching. And then I remember you said, hey, let's keep doing this. Let's not stop. And so then, here's the funny thing, I don't know if you even know this, but I built the coaching for 6 months and it was successful enough that people were like, well, we're not done here, are we? And so then I was now on the hook to build out the rest. But then we did coaching together, you and I. Yes. I was the coach, you were the coachee for maybe 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say at least 3 years. Yeah, if
not more. And then all of a sudden I was like, girl, why don't you become a coach? And so we kind of, because you really were exhibiting and embodying all of the kind of principles of Lead Ministry. And so, okay, how long have you been a coach with Lead Ministry now?
Yeah, so it's almost gone on 2 years now.
Yes.
We're coming up on the 2-year mark, which has been super, just a blessing and a great opportunity for me.
It's been a great opportunity for me to have you as a coach, but it's also been a great opportunity for those whom you're coaching. And how cool is it? We'll probably get into this in the interview a little bit later, but you've had people who are sticking with you over a year.
That's correct.
Isn't it funny that all of a sudden it's like when it's such a blessing when somebody who signed up, they went through the coaching and then they're like, okay, wait, hold on now. We're not done here, are we?
That's right. That's right.
They're finding value.
The fun part too, because it's, once we've kind of gone through some of the courses and maybe they've went through every single Lead Ministry course, which, you keep cranking out the content, but
sure.
Even so, it's now become a friendship.
Exactly.
And, beyond that friendship is, let's talk about life. It's not just ministry too.
That's right.
It's what's going on in your work-life balance. Like, how do we help you also at home? So it just becomes more but instead of a coach and coachee, it becomes this friendship too, beyond just the coaching.
Yes, it's awesome. And the funny thing is that I mentioned this on a previous podcast, but like, I've been to your home. I know your kids. I am friends now with your husband because when you do this ministry coaching with people, like people become kind of my people.
That's right.
It's so special. Okay, let's do this. What drew you to become a ministry coach through and with Lead Ministry? Why did you want to do this?
Yeah, well, I just, speaking back to when we first met, I just can remember what a blessing you were to me in my life and my ministry at that time. So getting to get on the other side of that and just help others achieve their goal and making a positive impact on their ministry using my own ministry experience, like you said before, you kind of touched on that earlier, to say, hey, I've been in your shoes. I've been there, done that. And let me walk you through this. Let me partner with you alongside you so that maybe you don't have to fall into some of these pitfalls that I did when I first got into ministry.
Yes.
And that is just so rewarding, just to be able to be that person for somebody else.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. And it really is, in a sense, like, why do I want to wait? Wait. I don't want to waste the pain and the scars that I have. The hardships that I've gone through, I don't want them. I want to maximize those. Am I right?
That's right. Well, and I also think back to when I first started ministry, you've got the emails going, you've got the office manager coming in asking about the budget receipts, you've got the staff meetings and the volunteer calls, and everything's being thrown at you. mind you, we haven't even talked about the ministry part yet.
Right?
There's so much. And then also making sure you're being able to be the best minister, which is the most important, in your home,
Yes.
and having that balance. So there's a lot thrown at ministers.
Big time. And we need holistic support. We don't just need ministry support. Okay. How has coaching others benefited you as a person and benefited you as a ministry leader?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say probably benefited me the most in probably two particular areas. One, I would say it's caused me to ask powerful questions.
Ooh.
So ministry is all about not just giving advice, but asking the right questions and powerful questions. So it's caused me to reflect more on what I need to pull out of others to help them kind of into self-discovery.
I love that.
Yeah. And then two, I would also say that probably the reflection piece on my own ministry, like being able to reflect on my own ministry experience and take it from a different vantage point to understand, because ministry is not always easy. And there are things in ministry that can be difficult and hard to process. So processing through some of these questions and situations with others also helps you to process through your own ministry experiences.
Yeah. The funny thing is we've all been there, right? Where you were expected to teach a adult Sunday school lesson, or you were expected to stand in and teach for the youth. But the very lesson that you were teaching really had a deep impact on your very own life. Mm-hmm. And coaching is really like that because it's as Bill Van Kirk said, it's the synthesis of that leadership material. When it comes out of your mouth, you become the greatest learner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, here's another quick question. Can you share a story where coaching someone really did end up directly blessing you?
Yeah. So in this ministry coaching, it was funny. I at our last conference, I had a couple come up and ask me to be their coach. They signed up with me. I was super excited, but I was also intimidated because I found out he was a lead pastor of a church and his wife. They're at a new church plant. Knowing I have some experience with church planting. We're at a very successful, growing church plant. However, realizing he was a senior pastor was a little bit intimidating. I've served a lot of different roles, but that one was a little unfamiliar to me. So, I really had to pray about that, thinking I may not be the right person to coach them. And, we're going to start this out, but if I feel that this is not working out, I probably need to find them a better coach. This may not be a situation that works out well. And it has been the biggest blessing because something I've realized is coaching is not about being the smartest person in the room.
No.
It is not about a title. It is not about a position. In coaching, there are aspects of ministry that are the same no matter what position or title you hold. It's all about people. Mm-hmm. It's about relationships. It's about vision. It's about learning yourself. And so I think taking that perspective, having to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and putting myself into a different vantage point has really blessed me and grown me as a leader and developed some of my communication skills and my leadership skills. And that has just been truly eye-opening. Yes.
I also like the idea that you suggested a second ago. It's all about asking questions. It's really,
yeah.
Tell me more tease that out a little bit.
Yeah. So, at a certain point, I also realized it's not my ministry map. I'm not trying to give somebody my map of how I did ministry. It is helping them to draw their own map to ministry in their own context. And that comes through questions and asking the right questions. what is going well in your ministry? What is not going well? What are you missing? What is confusing?
Yes.
There's just so much that
Well,
I think that we as people just don't think about until someone else asks us. And then, like you said, that synthesizing part, I've got to synthesize it and process it so that I can reflect it back to you.
yes. What's so interesting in, you're an insider with Lead Ministry Coaching. And so you just referred to the what's right, what's wrong, what's confused, and what is missing exercise. And that's a really powerful exercise. And what's so funny is, I know you've experienced this when you do the what's right, what's wrong, what's confused, what's missing, and you ask people those questions, the level of pause that they have after you ask what is right. And they're like, oh, wow, what is right? Okay, that alone is such a huge win. Or you say, what is wrong? And they sit there and they go, well, wow, I don't know if I've thought about that, but, and then, so the list goes on, what's confused. So asking questions causes people that, like, you brought up such an interesting point, and I really appreciate it, Aleshia. Coaching isn't dictatorial. We're not telling people. We are talking with people and having them conclude where they need to go. I think that is just so powerful. Okay, what do you see as one of the core benefits of someone receiving coaching from another outside leader like yourself? So somebody has signed up to do coaching with you. What are the core benefits, do you feel?
We touched on one earlier. I would say one of the biggest one is having that outside objective person actively listening, being intentional, and tailoring to what is going on in your ministry. So a lot of times we might want to go to our senior pastor or another staff member and talk through some things that are going on in ministry. But like we said before, we might have Susie Q that's been there for 20 years and everybody loves Susie Q, but she's destroying the team culture. So there's a little bit of mixed subjective thinking in there. So having someone on the outside that can give you that unfiltered solicited advice that's not something that's going to make you feel good all the time.
Right.
It may be something that's, like you said, here's your kryptonite.
Yes.
You need to see this and be self-aware.
Yeah. There have been times, and by the way, it comes through relationship, right? You don't have the right just to up and, tell somebody their kryptonite. It comes through relationship. And so we do become friends with these people, and then we earn the right to be heard.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Then I can say, hey, guess what? I'm seeing a pattern here. And can I throw out there, it's not Susie Q. I think Susie Q has a part to play in this, but here's your part as well. And so it is an outside person. And Bill Van Kirk and I did a podcast series on burnout. It was very, very, very powerful. And one of the pieces of burnout is not having an outside voice, because you can't talk to people at your church. You can't talk to people in your town, and you really can't talk to people inside of your denomination. You need an outside voice. And so that's a huge thing. Okay. What course or courses that Lead Ministry offers have been the most beneficial to you as an individual?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say when I first started out in ministry, it was by far Lead Volunteers course. Understanding how to assemble my team, to get the right people in the right place, so that it could trickle down. And because we talk about sometimes ministry is not what you're doing while you're there, but when you leave, can that ministry still run? So I know that volunteer course was very key for me to start out. And then as time went on and I was in ministry for a while, lead conflict. Lead conflict. Unfortunately, that's the one.
Yeah.
And we all experience it in ministry, whether it's through volunteers, whether it's through other staff members, whether it's
parents.
Through Yeah, parents, absolutely. We've got the mama bear and papa bears of the bunch. And so knowing how to gracefully walk through those difficult and challenging conversations and conflicts and come out of it on the other side in a good place.
Yes.
And allowing them to also feel honored through that conversation is so, so important.
Yes. And what you've brought up is quite interesting because the Lead Volunteers course is the foundation of the whole thing. And then once we have our volunteer culture established, you're actually going to prevent a whole bunch of conflict by the way that you set up your structures for recruiting, training, and retaining volunteers. But in the off chance, and yes, it's going to happen when you do have conflict, there's a lot of strategies that we can help people run through. Well, as we kind of close out today, why should others consider getting a coach? This is kind of the let's do it. Somebody might be on the fence, but I want to ask you specifically, what would you say to someone who is or who was on the fence about having a ministry coach? What would you say to them?
For sure. If you're on the fence, I'd say whatever is causing you not to jump in with both feet, remove that obstacle. If it's time, you're going to get your time back. I would make that bold promise right now. You're going to get your time back because whoever that coach is that's pouring into you long term, the organization and the tools that you're going to get in your toolbox is going to give you time back. If it's money, this is the best investment you could make in yourself is preparing for your future, developing yourself, and allowing someone to pour into you. And a lot of times that's something like you can go to your senior staff and say, hey, this is an area I need help in. Will y'all support me? Will you buy into my future and effectiveness as a ministry leader?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And I would also say a step further, it becomes, I remember getting so much time and confidence and encouragement when we first had our coaching sessions. And I think I was a better wife and a mom in the long run. I think, when I first started out, ministry is, it can be time consuming because you can pour so much time into others and you forget about yourself. And I just remember my husband really appreciated me going through ministry coaching and kind of getting my ducks in a row and getting my priorities straight. So I would say if you're on the fence, just fall head first. Do it.
Yes,
Don't wait.
Well, in you as a coach, you still have a couple of openings, do you not?
I do. I do still have some openings.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, somebody out there is going to be like, you know what? I like her. I think I want to work with her, right? Well, you are a very likable person. Well, listen, so grateful for this short little conversation with you about coaching and what it's meant to you. I have zero hesitation sending anybody to you for ministry advice and how to get their ducks in a row as well. So thank you, Miss Aleshia, and we will connect with you soon. Now, everybody, thank you for joining us for the Lead Ministry Podcast, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Lead Ministry Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and visit leadvolunteers.com for more episodes and resources. Thanks for listening.